All right, let's dive into something a little bit different in the Marvel Universe today.
Okay.
We're going to be checking out NYX.
Interesting.
And it's really kind of a street-level look at what it's like to be a mutant, especially as a teenager in New York City.
Oh, wow.
So we're not talking about the X-Men.
Wow.
We're not talking about Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters.
No.
We're talking about kids that are just trying to survive.
Yeah, this is a side of the mutant experience we don't always get to see.
Exactly. And this is kind of where we see for the first time, believe it or not.
Okay.
X-23.
Oh, wow.
Laura Kinney, before she became X-23.
So this is really her origin story in a way.
Yeah, this is like the first time that she appears.
I see.
In comics.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And so, we've got Joe Quesada working on this, and the art style really fits that dark street vibe.
I can imagine.
First by Joshua Middleton, and then by Rob Teranishi.
Yeah, I like Taranishi's work.
Yeah, he's really great. So let's meet the crew.
Yes.
We've got Kiden Nixon.
Okay.
Who's a teenager dealing with some pretty intense family stuff. And she suddenly develops this ability to manipulate time.
Oh, wow.
But it's tied to her emotional state.
Oh, so that's interesting.
Isn't that wild?
So there's this kind of vulnerability built in right from the start.
Absolutely.
With her powers.
Yeah, she's not in control of them completely.
Interesting.
Then we got Tatiana.
Okay.
Who can shapeshift into animals.
Oh, cool.
Which you think would be like,
right.
The coolest power.
Yeah, totally.
But she's actually really ashamed of it.
Oh, wow. Why is that?
Because it's she turns into animals.
Right.
And she's afraid of being seen as monstrous.
Oh, I see.
Because of it.
Right. So it plays into that fear of the other.
Exactly. Yeah. That fear that mutants often represent.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Bobby Soul, who is a telepath.
Okay.
But he uses his telepathy to care for his disabled brother.
Oh, wow.
So he can,
Not your typical superhero.
Not the typical hero.
Yeah.
Not like, I'm going to go fight Magneto.
Right.
It's, I'm going to take care of my brother.
Wow.
And it's really...
a different kind of heroism. It's very grounded.
Yeah. So we got this crew.
All right.
It's completely different from
Yeah, they don't have the X-Men training.
No.
They're
not training in the danger room.
Right.
They're literally just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Day to day.
Makes you wonder how they even, how they even get by.
Well, that's the thing. The series really does a great job of showing just how difficult it is for them to get by.
Right.
There's homelessness.
Oh, wow.
There's prejudice. There's violence.
So they're really facing the harsh realities
big time
of being a mutant.
There's this one scene, and it stuck with me because it was just so vivid.
Okay.
They're all scavenging for food.
Oh, wow.
In a dumpster. And I thought, that was just so powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we think of mutants as these,
powerful beings.
Yeah, with these amazing powers.
Right.
But they're literally just kids.
Yeah.
Trying to survive.
Yeah. And I think that's what NYX does so well.
Yeah.
It shows us that flip side.
Yeah.
Of the mutant experience.
Right.
What happens to those who don't have Professor X looking out for them?
Exactly.
Who don't have the X mansion as a safe haven?
Yeah.
Right. It's like what happens to the rest of them.
Yeah.
And the book explores a lot of different themes.
Okay.
It's not just physical survival.
Oh.
It's also very much
an emotional and psychological sort of a journey for these kids.
Right.
And there's themes of found family.
Oh, that's interesting.
Alienation.
Yeah.
And trauma.
Right. Because they're all dealing with a lot of heavy stuff.
And they really explore those themes.
Yeah.
Really well.
I'm curious to see how they handle that.
Like, for example, there's this moment.
Okay.
Where Kiden kind of breaks down.
And
she confesses to Tatiana.
Yeah.
Just how scared and alone she feels.
Oh, wow.
And it's this beautiful...
I see.
Heartbreaking scene.
Right.
That really solidifies their bond as a makeshift family.
Down family.
Yeah. And then, on the other hand, you've got these scenes where they're facing just blatant prejudice.
I see.
And hatred.
Right.
From people who just see them as
monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah.
simply because they're mutants.
It's a sad reality.
Yeah.
They have to face.
It makes you think, you know, if you were in their shoes,
right,
what would be like the thing that resonates most with you? You know, would it be the struggle for survival?
Yeah.
Would it be the need for acceptance?
Right.
Or would it be dealing with past trauma?
It's a lot to grapple with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's especially interesting with X-23, you know? It's like,
how does she fit into all this?
right, because here we have this mysterious kind of weaponized clone of Wolverine.
Yeah, and she's just dropped right into the middle of all this.
Exactly. And you start to wonder, like, how do these early experiences shape her?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in NYX, she's very much a blank slate.
Yeah, she's trained to kill. She's trained to follow orders, but she's not, you know. She
doesn't really.
Not your typical teenager. You know?
No, she's not having typical teenage experiences.
Right.
But you can see glimpses
okay,
of the hero she's going to become.
Right.
Like there's these moments where she shows compassion, especially towards Kiden and Tatiana.
Oh, interesting.
It's like this protective instinct is starting to emerge.
I see.
Even though she's been trained to be this weapon.
Yeah. Like there's still some humanity there.
Right.
It's trying to break through.
And there's actually this one scene where she's protecting Tatiana from these attackers.
Okay.
And the ferocity she displays is, I mean, it's terrifying.
Wow.
But it's effective.
Right.
And you can see that, you know, even at the stage, she's got that raw power that Wolverine's known for.
So they definitely captured that aspect of her character.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right from the start.
But what about the more, like, nuanced stuff?
Yeah.
Like, later on, she really grapples with her identity.
Yeah, her past.
Her trauma.
The whole nature of being a weapon.
Yeah, like defining herself beyond that.
Right.
Do you see any of that in NYX?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, those themes are definitely more explicitly explored in later stories, but NYX lays the groundwork, you know?
Okay.
You see her wrestling with these nightmares, flashbacks to her training.
Oh, wow.
You know, she's haunted by what she's been forced to do, even if she doesn't understand it fully yet.
It's almost like NYX is like a rough draft of her character.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, you know, later stories kind of come along and fill in the details.
Right. They add the layers, the complexity.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also interesting to note, visually, she's very different.
Oh, really?
From the X-23 we know.
Interesting.
You know, she's got this black and gray bodysuit, no claws, no mask. It's like she's still an unknown.
Yeah, she's not the fully formed, you know, X-23 yet.
Exactly.
It's kind of cool to see her in this, like more raw form.
Makes you wonder what would have happened if she debuted like that, you know?
Right. Like, what if she just showed up at the X-Mansion like, hey, I'm X-23.
Ready to train.
Yeah.
Would she have resonated with readers in the same way?
Right. Would she have been as popular?
It's a good question.
It makes you think. I mean, I think there's something about seeing her journey, you know, from this raw, almost feral state that makes her evolution that much more powerful.
Yeah. You really see her grow, make choices.
Yeah, like she goes from being a weapon to actually making conscious decisions.
From being isolated to forming these bonds.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. It's like NYX gave us this glimpse of the hero waiting to emerge.
Yeah, I like that.
And, you know, speaking of impact, I mean, this was a pretty limited run, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a super long series.
But it seems like it had this ripple effect.
Oh, absolutely.
On the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, I think it really opened the door for more of these street-level mutant stories.
Okay.
Like you had District X.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Generation Hope.
Oh, yeah.
You know, stories that focused on mutants who didn't fit into that classic X-Men mold.
Right. The ones that didn't get the call from Professor X.
Yeah, they weren't the chosen ones.
Yeah, and X-23's popularity, you know, exploded after this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, she was like a breath of fresh air, you know.
She was different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was flawed and complex.
And relatable in a way that a lot of heroes aren't.
Yeah, and I think that's because of this gritty, grounded introduction.
Yeah.
It's like we saw her at her most vulnerable.
Right.
And that made her even more compelling as a hero.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Like she wasn't handed anything. She had to fight for everything.
Right. And I think that's what people connect with.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the art,
Yeah, the art's amazing.
I mean, we've got Joshua Middleton in those early issues, and he just captures that urban decay.
Oh, yeah. His style is so evocative, so atmospheric.
Yeah.
You really feel like you're in those dark alleys, those shadowy corners of the city.
Right. And then Rob Teranishi comes in and he adds his own flair,
Yeah, his style is a bit more traditional,
Yeah.
but he still maintains that grittiness.
Yeah, for sure.
That edge that defines NYX.
Yeah, and I think both artists did an amazing job of translating those themes of isolation, vulnerability,
Absolutely.
resilience.
Yeah.
It's all there in the visuals.
For sure.
So, we talked about the characters, the themes, the art. I mean, the big question is NYX worth checking out?
Oh, definitely. Especially if you're an X-23 fan. I mean, it's essential reading.
Yeah.
You get to see her origins, how she became the hero we know and love.
Right.
But even beyond that,
Yeah.
I think it offers such a unique perspective on the mutant experience as a whole,
Okay.
It challenges our ideas about what it means to be a hero. It forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about prejudice and the struggles of marginalized youth.
It's a reminder that heroism comes in many forms.
Yeah.
And sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that focus on ordinary people.
Right.
Facing extraordinary challenges.
Yeah, it's about that struggle, that resilience.
Yeah, and that's what makes NYX so compelling.
Absolutely.
It's not just a superhero story. It's a story about survival, resilience, finding connection in the most unexpected places.
And it stays with you,
Oh, yeah.
long after you finish reading it.
Yeah, I agree.
It makes you think about the world around you, the struggles of others.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff. One thing I wanted to touch on before we wrap up is that unlike a lot of superhero comics, this one doesn't really have a neat and tidy ending.
Oh, that's right.
It's messy, it's unresolved, it leaves you with this feeling of what happens next.
Like a cliffhanger almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, like life goes on,
Right.
for these characters.
It's not tied up in a bow.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually one of the things that makes it so powerful,
I agree. It reflects reality.
Yeah.
Life doesn't always offer these easy solutions.
No, definitely not. Especially for these characters.
Right.
It's like the series is saying, here's a glimpse into their lives, but their journey doesn't end here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's up to us, the readers, to imagine what might come next.
And that's a powerful message.
Right.
Yeah.
It
makes you think about the lasting impact of trauma.
Yeah.
About social injustice,
Yeah.
about the ongoing struggle
Yeah.
for those who are constantly fighting for their place in the world.
Yeah. It's a lot to think about.
It is.
So if you're looking for a Marvel story that's a little off the beaten path, that challenges your expectations.
Yeah.
That stays with you long after you've finished reading it.
Right.
NYX is definitely worth checking out.
I completely agree. It's
Yeah.
a hidden gem.
Yeah, I think so too.
That offers a unique perspective on the mutant experience.
Yeah, it really does.
And the human condition.
Well said.
It's really something how they use this, this big Marvel Universe backdrop.
Right.
With all the,
The big heroes. And
the epic battles and everything.
Yeah.
To tell a story that's so personal and kind of intimate.
Yeah, it's like they took this huge world and they zoomed in on this tiny little corner.
Right.
And it's just these kids just trying to make it through the day.
And they're dealing with things that everyone can relate to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about being a teenager, feeling different, wanting to belong.
Right. It's universal stuff.
Exactly.
Even though it's set in this, fantastical world.
Right.
It's really about the human heart.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
And they explore those emotions so well within this extraordinary setting.
The other thing that really struck me was, how the series doesn't shy away from from the ugliness of the world.
Yeah, it gets pretty real.
Yeah, it shows the prejudice, the violence,
the inequality.
The inequality. It's like there's no easy answers.
Like no magic solution.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so powerful.
I agree.
Because it forces us to confront these uncomfortable truths.
Right, about our own world.
About our own world, yeah.
About how we treat those who are different.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's like NYX is holding up this mirror.
Yeah, it's like a reflection.
Yeah, it's like a reflection
of
our own society.
And it reminds us that, we may not have mutant powers.
Right.
But we all face challenges.
Yeah.
We all experience pain and loss.
Yeah, we all experience pain and loss.
Yeah, we all want to connect with others.
Yeah.
We all want to belong.
Exactly.
And I think for anyone out there who's ever felt lost or alone or misunderstood. Yeah.
NYX offers this really powerful message of hope and resilience.
I think so too.
It shows us that even when things are tough,
right,
we can find strength in each other.
Yeah, that's a powerful message.
Yeah, and in ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a really important message.
I agree.
Especially these days.
It is.
So, we've come to the end of our deep dive into NYX.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been fascinating.
Yeah, and I hope you found it as thought-provoking as we did.
Absolutely.
It's a story that really stayed with me.
Yeah, me too.
And I have a feeling it'll stay with you guys too.
I think so.
If you're looking for a Marvel story that's a little different,
Yeah.
a little darker,
A little more real.
a little bit more real,
Yeah.
then NYX is definitely worth checking out.
For sure.
Yeah, you might be surprised
Absolutely.
by what you find.
You never know what you'll discover.
And hey, maybe it'll inspire you to find your own, little tribe out there.
Yeah, your own sense of belonging.
Yeah, in this big, crazy world.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And until next time, keep exploring those hidden corners of the Marvel Universe.
You never know what gems you might find.
You never know.